Have you noticed in this day and age the amount of people that are literally crashing out? Crashing out is a relatively new term, I would think, and it basically says how people um, really just lose it. They lose it, and I remember Gerald Salente saying many years ago. I think he coined the term, even though I don't think it derived from him. People think just because somebody's saying something, it derived from them. Uh, but he said, or he used to say, or he still says, when people lose everything, they lose it. And we're living in a time where people today, uh, they're literally losing everything. They're being evicted from their homes. They're losing their jobs. Could you imagine? One second you're making $150,000, $250,000 a year, your tech job, and you're living in a nice high rise house, and you're driving a nice car, and then the next minute you lose your job, and all of a sudden you are living in a trailer or on the side of Skid Row in LA, uh, working Uber and DoorDash for a living. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine going from the height of success to the depths of poverty and on living on Skid Row? I recently saw a video, and we're seeing more and more of these videos of people just senseless killing. Guy recently, I think it's in Kissimmee, Florida. Uh, Guy goes into a Checkers, and he gets into an altercation with the uh, person there, the register person, the server, the waiter, whatever you call it, guys. Working fast food, and whatever happened, the guy ends up, the person that works at Checkers ends up taking out a gun and shooting the guy. I saw another incident where a guy was at a gas station and he was looking at his girlfriend. Obviously, she was a very voluptuous woman. He was looking at her, and the guy got out the car, confronted the guy with a gun in his hand, shot him like a dog, and walked off. You're seeing these kinds of incidents take place more and more. Just look at the look at YouTube, and it's fascinating how people are just killing people senselessly for no reason whatsoever. I say this to all that to say this. You want to make sure that, especially if you have a firearm, and you can still carry it, open carry, whatever you have it. I saw another video of a guy that went into a store, and then a guy came up behind him, took his gun and shot him with it. Colin Noor does excellent videos talking about this kind of stuff. But, I say all that to say, I digress, is that you want to be careful of the interactions that you have with people. You want to make sure that you are avoiding conflict at all costs. Because, see, you got to understand is that when it's time to escalate violence and get into confrontations, you can't control how someone else is going to respond. You can't control the level of depravity, how they're going to initiate violence towards you. People are doing some horrendous things, killing people's families. I tell you, man, you see it all over the internet. And so, I would say to people out there, avoid conflict, avoid getting yourself into situations as to where it may escalate. I've been in a situation or two, within the past, I would say 10 years, where I could have definitely escalated and gone there. And I really do thank the Father that the situations did work out, because there's two things that you don't want to mess with. You don't want to mess with somebody's money, and you don't want to mess with somebody's family or their livelihood. At that point in time, you can put yourself in a situation. But overall, outside of that, and hey, and my thing is this: is that you declare war against somebody, you don't get to control the way in which they're going to proceed in that war, because we've all heard the term, all is fair in love and war, and people think that everything is fair game when it comes to war. There's no rules of war. Uh, and I go back to the, you want to make sure that you are avoiding confrontation. This is how you do it. If you feel as though, or you have a sense as that someone doesn't like you or doesn't want to be around you, don't want to be around them. If you get a sense that someone, you get a spirit, or you're feeling that, someone may aggress towards you or something like that, leave them alone. Eliminate yourself, or remove yourself from that situation. Uh, it's just a wise thing to do in this day and age. You know what I mean? Pick your battles accordingly. Choose wisely in what situations that you're going to engage people, and then what you're not going to engage people. You know what I mean? Hey, perfect example. You're walking in and somebody bumps into you. And hey, I'm armed, right? I can either A, escalate that situation, or B, think about my family, think about all that I have to lose, because a lot of people, when you really look at their lives, they have nothing to lose. They've lost everything, and they're just walking day to day, poverty stricken, no dreams, no goals, no aspirations, no vision. Nothing about themselves is going to change. They're going to be in the same dirt rut that they have been in pretty much all their lives. And you're going to get into a confrontation with such an individual and risk your life and your family and all that you work for what? Because they bumped into you? I mean, I apologize. Go on type and go on about your way. Remove yourself from all of these kinds of situations. Pray to have an increased level of discernment for any situation that you may be in, where you may be in danger. Because at the end of the day, when you have something going for yourself, when you have something going for your family, and you're trying to build legacy, and you're trying to build out your family, you want to make sure that you're not putting yourself in a situation as to where you may unnecessarily need to escalate, because you may put yourself in harm's way, or you may hurt yourself, or you may have to hurt others. And then you may have to deal with the repercussions, because see, when we look at Torah, and then we look at the legal system of the world, it's totally different. Somebody in this day and age, they can rape, rob your children, and create acts of violence towards you. And in this wicked world, you got to allow the system to try them, give them a roof over their head, give them 3 squares a day, and hey, that ain't justice in my book. You harm myself and my family, you put my wife, my children on the line. You're gonna pay. Your family's gonna pay dearly. If my family got to pay dearly, then your family has to pay dearly. I believe in an eye for an eye. So you want to make sure that you're not putting yourself in a situation and where you may compromise yourself, your family, your freedom over some foolishness. Because when I look at it, in hindsight, outside of one situation that I've been in, everything else was dumb shit. Everything else was bull stuff, bull crap, and it was just better to just walk away, chalk it up to the game, take the hit, move on with yourself, and go and build your life. But yeah, in this day and age, people crashing out. Be careful. Be vigilant. And don't put yourself in situations as to where you even may have to go there. If you feel as though you have to go there, remove yourself from that situation. I mean, it's just good old fashioned wisdom. Shalom.